Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to the video where I'm gonna be talking about and showing off an old school guitar, a classic, my ESP LTD H307. This guy has been around for a long time. It was one of my two very first ESP 7 strings that we got back when we signed to Roadrunner Records. Kimura did back in 2001, and we met the ESP guys, went over to the factory, and that day I chose two guitars, this H307 and an MH307, which was the one I played a lot more live. I think because it had the pointed headstock and a Floyd, and I was really getting into Floyds at the time, kind of like that. But so this was my backup for a long time, but it's still in fantastic shape. It's an 02, and just look at this, the finish on this guy. Just gorgeous. Still after all these years. It hadn't been uncased in a super long time, but with these Kimura rehearsals coming up, Matt DeVries asked me if I had a 7-string that he could borrow for the first round rehearsals and then for his backup 7-string for the show. MFA, show me the old H307. You used to have a couple of these, but they were red, right?
Did it have a different headstock?
Did it have it? It didn't have the teardrop?
Yeah. MH, wasn't it?
So you had the MH307s, right?
Yeah.
Where that's just the Horizon string. I believe Matt ended up parting ways with all the 7 strings, his Kimura 7 strings, you know, after the band kind of, you know, fell apart around 2011, 12 in there. Then I think he kind of was just doing the normal gig, you know, raising kids and working and stuff, and he got rid of all his 7 strings, unfortunately. But for the show, I think he hooked up with Dean and got a 7-string from them, but he still needed a backup. So I went through my archive and broke out this guy just to give it a little bit of love. And as I was cleaning it up and getting it ready and restringing it, I just noticed how nice this thing was. Still, after all these years, I guess in my mind, I thought that it was like beat up or something, but actually the MH307 is beat up. It's got some huge chunks out of it. It had a broken headstock from when Matt and I collided on a Slayer tour in the Graceland in Seattle. And I only remember that well because recently one of the old ESP techs that worked there at that time ended up fixing that guitar for me. I can't remember your name, sorry buddy, but if you're watching this, go ahead and chime in. And you did a great job fixing a broken off headstock on that. Sent it to ESP, they sent it back to me, and ended up using it probably for the rest of the tour or the next tour, stuff like that. But this, like I said, was my backup. I couldn't even find any pictures of myself playing it. I guarantee they exist, but I couldn't find any. All the ones I found was with the MH307. But anyways, as I was cleaning this guy up, getting it ready for Matt for the rehearsals, I took some pictures of it, which I posted over on Patreon, and a lot of guys were talking about this teardrop headstock, which is something I never liked before. I liked the pointed headstock, and now I even prefer reverse pointed headstocks, which I know a lot of you guys too, because many people comment on that across the videos. But anyways, this teardrop just got a ton of love, and I started thinking that is pretty cool. People are calling that LTD logo a graffiti logo. If you know it as something different, go ahead and chime in. But kind of cool, kind of a relic. You don't really see these too much anymore. Definitely that ESP logo, you don't see like that anymore. But the teardrop, I think it's like a love it or hate it type of thing. Guys chime in saying that they think it's just terrible looking, and other guys say how much they love it. So like I said, I didn't really like it at first, but I don't know. I'm just maybe an easily persuadable guy is the right thing to say. I don't know. But after I started hearing people mentioning it, I started liking it too. So yeah, just a cool guitar. Rosewood fingerboard, maple neck, mahogany body, and I ended up somewhere along the line switching the volume and tone. So this is actually the volume there, just kind of out of the way. But these particular ones are so tight. You know, some guitars are like that where they don't move super easily. I mean, there's no noise or anything, but these are really tight. So there'd be no way I'd turn that down anyways if it were switched. But you see Matt in this video here from the Kimura rehearsals kind of trying to figure that out, because it's just kind of, you know, second nature to go for that as the volume when there's two of them there. And he's trying to turn it down and can't. And I've been making that mistake too as I've been messing around with it.
Where's your band? It's actually better because
Another thing about this guitar is that I'm almost positive that it came loaded with passive EMG HZs. And these are not HZs, these are active. I don't remember what they are, if they're 707s or what. I know somebody will chime in and tell me, because the last time I mentioned 707, somebody said that there is a distinct way to tell which ones they are. But these might just be the EMG 7s, I forget. But another interesting thing, just on my last video about the Crackle, here, the 87 Crackle, one of my favorite viewers out there, Megatod707, and I say that he's one of my favorites only because he's just got an ever positive attitude and always interacting, leaving great comments and stuff, like so many of you guys. I appreciate all of you so much. But he happened to ask me a question that's gonna relate right now that I just realized. And that's, I was talking about putting active 81s into the Crackle, which has passive Duncans right now. And he said, what do you do with the battery in that situation? Because most guitars that are that come from the factory with active pickups have a dedicated battery compartment pre-routed in the guitar during construction. So in this case, this doesn't have one because it came with passive pickups. And so my answer to Todd was, what you do in that case is you have to find a way to stick the battery in the main electronics cavity there and just kind of make it fit. And most of the time that's not a problem, but I figured, let's take a look. Because I had this open when I was setting up the guitar initially, but I wasn't thinking about that then, so I really don't remember what it looks like. It's either gonna be a bird's nest mess of stuff, or maybe it's done right. And I don't remember if I did this. I doubt I did. I think one of my techs probably switched them out to the active pickups, which I've always preferred. But let's take a gander and see what we got going on here in a guitar that originally came with passives. Yep, look at that. No big deal. Doesn't look too bad at all. So, we'll give it a strum here. Guessing some of the early classics were written on this guy. Or at least, this guy played a lot of those early classics. You don't know. Been a minute. Ah, see, there I go. Grabbing for the wrong knob there. Anyways, not much else to say. It's not like you can go and get one of these today. I mean, I'm sure you can find them used, but it's not like a new item that I'm gonna say, hey, go check these out and grab one right away, because it's just kind of a classic, a cool, just rock solid ESP classic. Ooh, here's another modification there. It's got Spurzels put on it. So fixed up in a few ways, actives, Spurzels, and TLC. So that's all I got to say about that. Any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Any comments, feel free to leave them. I'll try to get to everything that I possibly can. You guys know I always do. And again, I always appreciate each and every single one of you watching, liking the video. Do so if you haven't already, if you liked it. If not, well, sorry. But yeah, everything else, appreciate y'all. Hope to see you on the next video. And like I always say, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about guitar playing, riffing, arranging, soloing, from me personally, then check out my guitar instructional DVD, just $24.99, free worldwide shipping, comes with a bunch of extras, cool picks, stuff like that. And I mean, hey, I got some extra picks right now, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'll include those guys, you know? So yeah, check it out. Check out my Patreon campaign if you want to get a little closer, priority messaging, early views of my videos, a cool community vibe, guitar tabs, and so much more. Thank you, everybody, once again. See you soon.